We'll talk about his dramatic, thrilling victory last night, that three-way battle for the lead there at the end of that race between Seth, Bergman, Tyler Thomas, and Blake Hahn, but Bergman able to hang on. He's joining us right now. Seth,
Hey,
congratulations
Seth.
last night. That was quite a win.
Hey, boys, how's it going? Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Hey, bud. It worked out just like you planned. When me and you were talking last night, we talked in great length last night about what's going on in 360 racing, and man, you lived right up to what my expectations of you were. Remember, I
Yeah,
said,
yeah. I mean, we had a pretty good conversation there before the races, and just was able to reflect on years past and where I'm at now in my career and what I want to do. And heck, we went on to win the race, so that was good. But one thing about Creek is a lot of places you can run and hide and get a lead and go. And Creek, the one thing that always makes me nervous is you can never get far enough away, like I said, to run and hide. And there's always going to be a late race caution. And, you know, late race caution, they take the lappers out. And typically it seems like the last 8 or 10 times even we've been there, I raced a 52 car for a win. And so it lined up just like it's been in the past. And Blake was there, and Tyler was actually there, and he was running the top, and Blake was running the bottom. And Blake's beat me a few times there on the bottom late in the races. They get their car working, I feel like, around the bottom. And I knew, seeing him behind me on the board, that he was probably going to be working the bottom, so I needed to figure out how to get down there and stop that up, and then I did. And then I seen Tyler trying to work the top, so I had my hands full at the end there.
yeah, not quite as exciting as the last time you were down there, and you and Blake, when you got around Blake there at the end, you kind of rock crawled the wall a little bit, bouncing off of shit. It was crazy that last win. Not quite as eventful as the last one, Creek.
Yeah, it wasn't as eventful, I guess. It was still a good finish, but
It was,
and
yeah,
definitely
sure.
definitely a lot cheaper for me, because last time I pulled that stunt and rode up the backstretch wall and ended up, I don't know how we did it, but we won. I ended up tearing a bunch of stuff, so I got away clean this time. Didn't get into the walls or anything. Kept the wheels and wings on the thing and was able to get across there with a win. So got a win and didn't have to spend any money on parts now fixing everything like I did last time. So it was a good night.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, and again, the plans are for next year to start the schedule and run the entire. Sounds like we're going to have a lot of dates next year. It's going to kind of be like what we did back in 2011, and I think you were out there with us that year. I think that was you started in 09. Am I correct? 09?
Yeah, the first year I ran the national tour, the Lucas Oil American Sprint Car Series national tour was 09. Before that, I mean, I was racing sprint cars, but just basically strictly on the west coast. We never ventured out too much to go racing out here like I do now.
But then after you ran that one year with us on the national tour, I think you finished 11th in points that year, if I'm not mistaken. You went back home. You won 5, 6, 7 races up at Grays Harbor, won that championship. But then you and your family decided, you know what? We like that national tour, and you've been out here ever since.
Yeah, it was an eye-opener for me the first year. You know, we had a lot of great teams out here and very well-known drivers that have made a big impact on the sport. There was a lot of competition the first year. And I can remember it was really the first time I got out. I had watched some outlaw races and stuff at home when they came through. And first time I got out, though, and got to experience watching guys like Gary Wright and Jason Johnson and Shane Stewart was out there. And there was Paul McMahon was on the tour. And I remember I missed the show the first night I came out and watched the feature, and I knew pretty much at that moment that this is where I wanted to be, and what I wanted to do was out here racing professionally. And you know, since then we've kept with it, and ASCS has always provided you know, pretty good money to race for, to where you can justify being out here and racing for them. And it's something I've had a goal this whole time to be a champion with ASCS, and I failed to do that. So, you know, as we were saying just a bit ago, you see some fire in me, and that's part of it. I want to win championships, and we need to start doing that. So that's part of the fire, and just in getting going here is being not just a guy that can win races, but a guy that can win championships. So been chasing that the whole time, and now we're getting to a point to where I really feel like, things are getting put together where I can do that.
Hey, Seth, you talk about fire. The one thing that really sticks out in my mind this year is the Speed Week back in August. You weren't a happy camper at all coming out of that race at Caney Valley, but then you carried that fire into the next night at 81 Speedway and won that night. And the attitude that you carried out of that win at 81 Speedway, that was something I'd never quite seen out of that from you, but that was really quite memorable, the way you bounced back from those 2 nights at Lakeside and Caney Valley and won at 81 Speedway. Big moment.
Yeah, I think it's sometimes it's just hard to hide your emotions. This sport is full of raw emotion, and some guys are better at it at times and hiding it than others. And I feel like I've been really well just keeping my emotions in check, over the past years. And